Boss. Rick Ross is often portrayed as the biggest boss in hip-hop. At the same time, he's low-key one of the most spiteful, petty rappers the industry has ever seen. Recently, his petty actions towards Drake after the Iceman release have him in the news, but people don't realize that he's been acting this way for decades. The first big example of Ross's pettiness was his DJ Vlad situation. Back in 2008, Ross's past as a South Florida corrections officer came to light. A website called The Smoking posted his employment records and photos of him in his CO uniform. Ross denied the photos, but the internet ran with it, including DJ Vlad, who aggressively promoted the story in order to get views. He also went as far as to find people who worked in the same prison as Ross and interviewed them about the CO allegations. Ross took deep offense to this, and when he ran into Vlad at the Ozone Awards, Ross showed him how disrespected he felt. When Vlad arrived, Ross's entourage pulled up and beat Vlad into a pulp. They beat his ass, cutting his face and fracturing his eye socket. Vlad would later sue Ross for orchestrating the attack and won $300,000 from an original $4 million suit. That would be just the start of Ross's spiteful actions towards his ops. Over the years, he'd have petty back and forth with damn near half the industry. He beefed with DJ Envy over who had a bigger car show, which led to Ross trying to hire Envy's wife to work on his property. He squared up with 50 Cent after 5th allegedly gave him a dirty look at the 2008 BET Awards. This led to multiple diss tracks and very personal attacks.
Deciding to fuck your life up. Rick Ross, I'ma fuck your life up. For fun.
He also went at Tory Lanez, buying him a tiny smart car that would fit Tory's small stature, and many more beefs. All that brings us to the current day, where Ross has been on a terror spree attacking anyone and everyone who he feels disrespected him. Enter Drake in the picture. Drake and Ross have had issues for years, dating back to 2015 when Ross inherited Meek Mill's beef with Drake. Things really exploded between them in 2024 during the Kendrick situation and when Ross dropped his brutal diss track towards Drake, Champagne Moments.
That's why you had operation to make your nose smaller than your father knows.
When Drake dropped Iceman and Ross heard he got dissed on the track Make Them Pay, he saw it as another opportunity to terrorize his op. But Ross didn't just say Drake's music was trash and call it a day. He did research, compiled a bunch of comments of people calling it trash, and read them off to the camera. This level of hating needs to be studied in universities. But it wasn't just Drake he would attack. Rory and Mal, Joe Budden's ex-co-host, also got berated by Ross. And honestly, Ross trolling Drake was pretty funny, but in my opinion, this one is just a bad look. Things kicked off when Rory criticized Ross for going on a podcast wishing Drake success despite having one of the most public issues and falling outs with him 2 years earlier. Ross's very rational response to this critique was to post an IG story tagging Rory, calling him a glazer and to get off his D's.
Now Rory and Mal, and let Big Spurt know the boss waiting for him to come kiss the ring. Minions.
He then said he sees why Joe Budden fired them, and then came at Mal's brother Biggs Burke, who had nothing to do with the situation at all. Then he did something similar to what he did with DJ Envy, joked about hiring Mal's mom to work behind the bar on his property. YouTuber Chick Smooth reported on the whole situation, and the comments tell you everything you need to know about what the fans think.
I thought Zip had already saw this that Ross said. He was talking about something else with Ross.
Yeah, don't never say no, Ross.
I was like, nah, it's fine, bro. I said, it's fine,
I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm passionate with these, right? So if you ever say some like that again about some sucking shit, and I'm saying, we're going to talk about how many you saw as a correction officer, because that's your job to look at and nuts and assholes and all of that. You did that. We're not going to be talking about suckers when you done saw more than the.
The crazy part about this is Rory and Mal really didn't say anything that crazy. Ross just seems to be so sensitive that anything mentioning his name that's not in the perfect light pushes him over the edge. It's very high school-like, except the problem is that Ross is 50 years old, still sensitive as hell. It's crazy. But he just keeps going. On May 20th, he did a podcast with entrepreneur Patrick Bet-David, where he continued to talk shit about Drake. Ross is lining up to drop a new project called Set in Stone on June 12th of 2026. So it's possible that all this trash talking is him trying to make his name hot for the release. That's the only reason I could think of as to why this man is acting so petty. I don't really get it, but it's entertaining as hell, so I'm here for it. We'll see how this plays out and report here on the latest.